Hey everybody, it's TotalGamerJunkie and I welcome you all back to my channel. Now before this theory video starts, I just want to say that my Far Cry walkthrough part 10 is editing. I was meant to upload it yesterday, but something went wrong with it, so I've had to re-edit it, and I'm going to try and hopefully get it edited up today. I killed Faith, and now I'm going to face John C, but that's going to be my last walkthrough. Now let's get started with the theory video. That's why you're all here. Now a few hours ago, how many hours ago to be exact? I think it was 6. The YouTube channel Ubisoft North America released this image that you are seeing right now on your screen, and it's a triangle sign of a kangaroo, and the top part of the sign is bent down to make it look like a hood. Now, a lot of people have been speculating that this might be an Assassin's Creed. I honestly don't know. Like, I'm from Australia. I'm born in Australia. That's where I am right now. So if this is an Assassin's Creed game in Australia, then okay. Because I know a lot of people are saying that what do you call it? The next game's going to be in Japan because of that leaked information a while ago, where you had like the Egyptian symbol, and that was Origins. Then you had the Greek symbol, and that was Odyssey. And then there's this Shojin, this Japanese symbol. It's like a Shojin something, one of those little roofs, so that's why people think the game's going to be in Japan. But anyways, I'm going to talk about my thoughts on this possible Assassin's Creed game in Australia and when it might take place. Now, these signs are mainly for cars, so we have to assume that the game, I believe, will take place in the 20th century. Now, I looked up when the sign was created, and it said the winged kangaroo sign was made in 1947. Now, I might be wrong here. I don't know if this sign's actually winged, okay? So, I could be wrong here. But that's when it said it was made, 1947. So, what historical events could we see in 1947? I don't know. My history is not that good, to be honest. But what do you call it? There have been, I know there've been some wars around that time. Plus there's other historical events, but like it might not even be in 1947, you know. It could be before or after, maybe in the 70s or 80s, 40s. But it's got to be, if it is a game in Australia, the sign, it has to be after the sign was made, which I looked up says 1947. If it is the winged kangaroo, if it is the winged kangaroo sign, because I'm not too sure about that. It says it was created by Sydney designer Gert Selheim and first appeared in January 1947 to coincide with Qantas introduction of Lockheed L749 constellations. See, but that's like for an aircraft, like, because I couldn't find the proper triangles, but I do know it's obviously the 20th century, because that's what you meant to use to warn cars. So we had to assume that there were automobiles around. So I do believe it's going to happen. If this game does happen, it's going to be somewhere between the 1940s and 1960s. I do not believe the game will go past the 21st century. Or go into the 21st century, not past it. The closest, like, with an Assassin's Creed game has to be with Lydia Frey from Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Jacob's granddaughter. Now, I believe it was 1906 or 1916. One of those two dates are in between there. That's actually the furthest to the present time we've gotten in an Assassin's Creed game. So, if what we're saying here is true, this could possibly be another Assassin's Creed game. And that'd be pretty interesting for Ubisoft, because look at Watch Dogs, for example. That's set in the Assassin's Creed universe, and like, I never played the second one, but I played the first one, and we know that they like to make little connections here and there. Like, you got like Pierce, you see a picture of Pierce in Origins as well. He ends up killing a guy that's part of Abstergo Industries, who you meet in Assassin's Creed 4. It's like everything's connected, so I don't really know exactly what is gonna happen in this game, but you know, if it is real, but let's say it is real. Let's try and figure it out. So I did a little research, looking up Australia's history because at Ubisoft they do very extensive work with history to try and get like proper accuracy in that. Now I do believe that like I'm 100% sure that if it's an Australian game, it will be in the 20th century. Now because Australia's had such a rich history, like it's hard to determine when and where the time could take place. But so I was looking up some information, and I did find a few interesting sites about history because I'm not really that good at history, but I know a bit, but not like about my own country, which is kind of bad since I'm born here and raised. And well, anyway, let's get started. Now, one of the things is the Federation of Australia. On January 1st, 1901, the Constitution of Australia was put into effect and united the British colonies of Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, Tasmania, South Australia, and Western Australia as a collective states of the Commonwealth of Australia. 8 months later, the first Australian flag was hoisted above Parliament. So this is the early 20th century. It's the first year of the 20th century. Well, technically second if you want to count 1900. Now, what do you call it? Now, this could be an interesting point for the Templars. They could want to, because we all know Templars are about control, so maybe they want to unite the British colonies of Queensland, New South Wales into one, so that way they can have complete control. Like I said, like I'm just talking out my ass, don't really know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we could see the assassins fighting for the to make sure the Constitution is kept out of the Templars' hands and is for the people and that, you know what I mean? Okay, another event is the Australian women's suffrage. Before the Federation, only women in South Australia and Western Australia had the right to vote, but the women's suffrage movement led Parliament to pass the Commonwealth Franchise Act 1902, which enabled Australian women older than 21 to vote in national elections and stand for the Australian Australian Parliament. It was one of the earliest gender equality movements in Australia. Now, if you remember in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, when you're playing as Lydia Frey, it's towards the end of the mission. She tells the guy that she wants there to be voting for women to have the right to vote. Sorry, something in my throat. That wasn't like me making a kick ass at like women wanting to vote. I want to make that very clear. Yeah, so anyways, that could be a very interesting move because I really hope like the next Assassin's Creed they do what they did with Odyssey, where you can choose to be a male or female. Now, this this would be a pretty interesting act because I personally would like to see this because there aren't really that many female characters in games that pack an impact, because most of the time when you play as characters, they're normally male, and like that's why I always choose to play as female characters, because I love playing as a woman, because let's face it, female protagonists are better than male protagonists, at least in my opinion, for the play as. And like, I don't know, that's just my opinion, you got your own. So anyways, that would be pretty interesting to see how there'd be fighting and all that, and like maybe like some husbands wouldn't want their wives thinking like that, or their children. And as an assassin, you gotta have to fight for this freedom. If you're a female, you gotta fight for this freedom. You gotta try and help do this. And maybe this is maybe this instant right here, you actually as a female assassin manage to strike a blow in history and have women being able to vote. Like, that'd be pretty cool. I'd love to see that. Now, the next one is the Gallipoli landing. On the 25th of April 1915, in the midst of World War I, Australian and New Zealand troops were... sorry about that. Just got a message. Alright, I'm back. Sorry. Australian and New Zealand troops landed at Anzac Cove on the Gallipoli Peninsula. The Gallipoli campaign lasted 8 months with 8,709 Australian fatalities. Anzac Day is a significant national day of remembrance and commemorates military casualties and veterans. Now, this could be interesting here as an assassin. Like, let's just say you play as a soldier in the beginning, and you discover like a Templar plot, and you have to go and stop them. But in order to do that, you fake your own death. And that way, when everyone thinks you're dead, no one would come looking for you, and that you'd be able to move around like a ghost. So yeah, like honestly, like just between you and me, I have no idea about the history of Gallipoli. Okay, and I'm Australian, and that's really bad. So I can get fucking ostrated from my country for not knowing this important history. But anyways, yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. You play as a soldier assassin, or if you're a female character, you'd be a nurse assassin. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, nurse by day, assassin by night. Now, there is one that's not really that relevant, because this is like all the important one, because the site I'm on is just telling me about the historical moments that shaped Australia. And some of it is before the 20th century, but we're just but I'm just going through all the 20th century ones. So it says one here, there's the Port Arthur Massacre. On the 28th of April 1996, a lone gunman killed 35 people and injured 23 more at the Port Arthur Historic Site in Tasmania. It was the deadliest shooting rampage in Australian history, and in response, the government introduced tight gun control laws that are among the strictest in the world. So this one right here, I don't believe this would happen, but if it did, then we could assume that the lone gunman would have to be a Templar, and maybe they want to enforce these rules, and so they do it. One of the members of the Templar Order, or one of his associates, a lackey, goes in there and just guns down all these people. And maybe it's not even being like gunned down. Maybe there's like an assassin fighting him, and what do you call it, things get out of hand, and maybe there's a precursor object involved. I'm not too sure. The point is, like, I do believe the Templars would want to do this in strict force gun control laws, because they're all about control. So, you know, it makes perfect sense to me. So that's really all the stuff that there is about the 20th century on here that I could find. There's also some other stuff about like William Josune, Dutch explorer. He mapped Australia soil in 1616. Then there's arrival of the first fleet. Captain Arthur Phillip sailed the Botany Bay. Yeah, but there's like, we don't know if that's, maybe that sign's like not even legit. Maybe it's what do you call it, telling us that the game isn't Australia to make us know what the sign means, but they're throwing us off, and it's not in the 20th century. So it could be the arrival of the first fleet with Captain Arthur Phillip when he goes to Botany Bay. It could be about the gold rush in 1851. You know, at 2 tons of gold poured into Melbourne's Treasury building each week. Convict colonies were transferred into modern cities, and Australia's multicultural identifier began to take root. The Eureka Stockade. In the midst of the Victorian Gold Rush, the event is often regarded as the birthplace of Australian democracy, as it marked a movement of revolt against oppression, and, you know, the assassins fight oppression. So yeah, that could be it. Like, so let me know what you think in the comments below. If you think I'm just talking out my ass, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, then by all means, leave a dislike and a hateful comment. But, yeah, if you have any theories of your own, leave them in the comment section below. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. And later today, my 10th walkthrough of Far Cry 5 should be out. This is TotalGamerJunkie, signing off.